So I recorded the piano and everything for that track right after I finished the last video, which was on the 25th. It is now the 27th. And in that time, I've been listening to it, just over and over as I work on other bits. And I'm pretty confident I want that to be the first track on the album. It's a slow, not necessarily super upbeat, chill sort of thing. And it's one of the songs that is like, I feel pretty comfortable knowing that it's my own work. Obviously there is a drum loop, but that's not a major part of the song. That's just there to keep the beat, and I cut it up a whole bunch to make it fit in the 7/8 time signature. So I feel, I don't have that feeling of I've just put a bunch of loops together and it's not really a song, you know what I mean? Which sometimes, especially last RPM challenge that I did 2 years ago, that was sort of the case with a couple of tracks. So yeah, that's one of the songs that I feel pretty good about, like the vibe of, to be an intro track. Now I want to show you another song. I made this completely off camera because I just don't have time to record everything. There is currently a day and a half left. Technically, the end of the challenge is at the very end of the 1st of March. The idea being to give 24 hours for uploading any issues with streaming services, whatever. My intention was never to have it out on streaming services by the 1st of March, but just to get it out on Bandcamp, and then it would come out on streaming whenever it comes out. But either way, the intention is you get time to do that. And being in Australia, being one of the last time zones, I technically get, I believe, until 10:30 p.m. on the 3rd of March, which is ridiculous, but I don't want to be still working on the music by that point. I ideally want to have it done by the 28th, which is tomorrow. And if anything comes up, spend that extra time just actually resolving technical issues, or ideally just get it out straight away. So anyway, that's where we're at. The next piece is, a bit of it starts off kind of, it's based around a vocal sample. Starts off slow. There's some acoustic drums, and I recorded my bass in, and then it moves into this like house-ish sort of section. I don't really know what the genre is of it, but it's like EDM type of thing. But I like it a lot. I like the sample, and I've built a lot around it. There's some chords, there's some other stuff. As with all of the things that have been going on in this series, let me know what you think of the piano piece at the start and the one you're about to hear. After that, I'm probably going to try and do what I said I would do at the end of the last video, which is get some hardware out, which is up in that box. And that should be an easy way to get some more songs out. It's obviously less powerful than working in the box, but is a lot faster as far as inspiration, getting ideas out, coming up with things. Honestly, I don't feel super motivated to do much on hardware at the moment. So in the meantime, I'm probably going to re-record final takes of all of the existing hardware tracks just to get them sorted and then know that those tracks are done and they're ready to go. But yeah, I was going to say the EDM track, but it's also has a live drums, and it's weird. I'm thinking I might take out the middle section and just have it be the intro, fade out into the drop bit, but I don't know. Anyway, here is the current full version of it. Okay, so right now it is about 10 p.m. on the 28th, the very last day, meaning there are about 2 hours left. As I think I mentioned either in the last video or earlier in this video, because of basically an allowance of extra time to upload the thing, there is, for me in Australia, about almost 2 extra days, or almost 3 extra days, because it's basically until the very end of the 1st of March in the last time zone in the world. So there you go. I end up having some extra time. I don't want to abuse that, so my plan from the beginning was always that the 28th would be the last day. I'm just going to give myself until I go to sleep, however long it takes to get enough done that I'm happy to call it finished. Anyway, what I wanted to do was go through all the bits and pieces where I have projects lying around, whether that's in the door that I've recorded instruments, or if it's with hardware. Basically, collect a list of all the things I've done, decide what I want to keep, what I want to actually put on the album, because it has become very clear that I'm not achieving a 10-track album, but I've known that for some time, but just based on where I was at a week ago and knowing how busy I've been. And I'm fine with that. I would rather put out 5. I've got 5 now, I believe. Maybe 5 to 7 tracks, realistically, by the end of today, that are good, that I'm happy with, rather than 10 just to reach a numerical value. So if I can put together and work on some of the ones I don't like, get them to a point I'm happy with, or start from scratch and come up with 1 to 2 extra things, that would be great. If not, 5 is also completely okay. So I'm gonna have a look and come up with a bit of a list. So I'm literally going through and watching each of my update videos and just skimming through them to remind myself what I've done, and then also the one I'm editing right now, which is this one, and then pretty much make a list. So first video, we had just the 2 on the circuit tracks. The way I'm gonna organize the list is basically start with everything, and then at the end I'll go through and sort of put together the bits I actually like and want to keep. We have 1 on the circuit tracks, which is very like downbeat. I'm just gonna write downbeat circuit tracks song. I'll know which one it is. It's the first one from the first video that I said in that at the time I didn't really like. The other one from that video is the one I really liked, the synthwave inspired one. And completely off camera, I added, when I did the final take for it, I added something on the Volca keys. So you'll hear that on the album if you go and listen to it. Moving on from that video to the second one, which was the one where it was all in the door, we had, my Wi-Fi is absolutely shocking. I cannot load a single thing. The first 2 with various like brass samples and stuff, I don't like either of them very much. Like, they're good, they don't suit this, and they definitely don't fit stylistically with the ones I really like, so I don't think I'm going to include either of them. I'll put them on the list, but they're probably not staying. So I'll make a software group and put them in there. Next up from that video was that one that I recorded guitar and everything and bass for, and then in the third video did live drums for also. I really like that one. I've spent a lot of time on it at different points. I'm going to call that indie guitar, because that's what I called it in the video, and I'm just going to stick with that. And then finally from that, we have that one that was a bunch of samples chopped up. This one I'm conflicted on, because as I've mentioned a few times throughout these updates, I feel weird about using a heavy amount of samples in anything. Just sort of feels like it's not my work, even though I know, like, I've put a lot of time into cutting them up in the way that they are, picking out individual little sound effects to go in different spots and putting it all together. It also feels in a way that it's not my work. But then also think about all of the artists that have been successful just sampling each other, and it's only 1 track on the album. So honestly, even though I'm talking you through all of this, that is the only one that I'm actually not sure on yet, that I'm thinking about, and I'm going to call that samples. Okay, finally, third video. The first part of this was that organ track with the circuit tracks. I recently, last night, recorded the take of that as well. So that is ready to go. Organ and circuit tracks song. And then finally, in that video, I recorded live drums for the other one. So obviously that's not a separate track. That's just one of the other ones. Then, at the beginning of this video, you saw the piano track, the 7/4 track with the sampled drums. 100% keeping that one. As I said, I want that to be the intro track. So that's called Piano 7/4. And then finally, the one you just heard, the EDM live bass track. So on the hardware side, we've got these ones, software, these ones. Obviously, I just went through all of them. Now, ones I'm 100% sure on. Sorry, there's no way about this, my hand's just in the way. But the synthwave one, the organ one, and the piano, definitely. Software-wise, that EDM live bass one, and indie guitar, 100%. So, that is 5 tracks, as I said. Those are the ones I'm sure on. The ones I'm tossing up are the very sample-based one. For, obviously, the reason I mentioned, of just feeling strange about releasing something that's not really my work. Even though, again, that's a complicated issue about how do you define that. And the other one, this one, the downbeats, the first one I made at all for this challenge. I feel pretty confident that I could take another look at this. I haven't really worked on it in some time and come up with something I'm happy with. So that's my next plan. This one, I honestly just think I need some time to think about. So those are next on the checklist. And then also, obviously, mixing a lot of the stuff that's in software needs to be done. So, whoa, those are my next plans. I have technically an hour and 52 minutes. Realistically, I'm probably going to give myself until about 2 a.m. So this stuff, the actual musical stuff of this, which is really just work on that circuit tracks one, hopefully half an hour to sort of spend some time with it, decide whether it's worth pursuing, and then if it is, maybe an hour, hour and a half. That's probably the last thing I'll do today. And then, if I have time, if I'm feeling up to it, one more hardware track, hopefully, maybe. But that's a maybe. And that, best case scenario, with the 5 solid ones, if I decide to keep the samples, that's 6. One more, that's 7. That feels like a really good place to be, considering I only really started this, aside from the first video, which had 2 tracks in it. Other than that, I kind of started this on like 19th or 20th or something. So, I feel pretty okay about that. Let's get to work. So I added that sort of breakdowny section into that track. Adds a bit more life to it, adds a bit more variation. I also did an actual take to use on the album. It's okay. There's some bits and pieces that I would probably fix up as far as the composition and then also the way I performed it in the take, but it is what it is. If I have a chance, I will go back over it, I suppose, but it's really not the biggest issue right now. It's really just a few things with like timing of like transitions between the 2 different parts of the songs, but it's fine. It is what it is. The idea is obviously there. That's one of the songs out of the group that I'm a little bit less concerned about. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day for this video. There will be one more update where you will see any other tracks that I do come up with. At this point, I'm not sure whether there will be any. The final outcome of that sample-based track, and then, final reflections, thoughts on the challenge. By the time you're watching this, most certainly the album will be out, so please consider going and giving it a listen. Let me know what you think. Thank you for all of the support so far on this series. yeah, look forward to seeing what people think of it. It's, as far as technically not achieving my goal of 10 tracks, this is the least successful RPM challenge, but I'm quite happy with some of the stuff that's come out of it, and it's the first time I've really committed to making music in some time, so it's going well. Anyway, it's now technically the 1st of March, so I should probably try and wrap it up soon. Yeah, go listen to the album. Oh, and join the Discord server. I keep half wanting to talk about it. I'm so I guess I'm just trying to get it back to where it was a little while ago, where it's a bit more active. It was a cool place to be around. If that's your thing, consider joining. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.